We rewrote our product in Go from scratch. This blows my mind that you could write a backend in Scratch. Why on earth would anyone do that? Yeah, why on earth would anyone write a backend in Scratch? Okay? This makes no sense. Chances are that was the first thought you had after reading the title. It shockingly isn't. If you've been building software long enough, you know that a full rewrite is generally a bad idea. This is such good advice right here. Already, this is a great post. Just like this post alone could be nothing but blankness or lorem ipsum after this. This is such a good thing. I worked at a company where a CEO got fired because of a rewrite. I was at Netflix during the Great Rewrite. Rewrites are awful. Rewrites, hands down, always screw everything up. Progressive refactoring is the way, unless if you are doing the full language change. If you're doing the full language change, guess what? That's different. That's just different. And of course, so someone said Elon Twitter. The thing about Twitter, though, the thing about Netflix, the thing about backends is often they're microservice, just cluster. And so that means you can rewrite from scratch, but it's like a small service. And so the rewriting it's not, the effort is much, much smaller. You know what I mean? So that's okay because you're rewriting a few hundred line, couple thousand line application from one to another. That's a simple rewrite. That's a simple rewrite. The hard part's really the infrastructure. Honestly, when it comes to microservices and all that, the microservice is the easy part. It's the logging, it's the messages, it's the debugging, it's the productions, it's the canaries, it's the staging environment versus production environment. It's like the ancillary issues is insane versus the actual, the thing, right? The thing is not that hard. Holy cow. I'm not convinced microservices are the greatest thing in the universe. Anyways, wow, did we detract. Let's see. It looks tempting because you think it's going to be quick and solve multiple structural problems at once. I've done this, and every time I'm wrong. However, it's almost always becomes a never-ending time sink that creates many more structural problems that you didn't even know existed because the original version had solved them from day one. Yep. Every time. You know the best part about this? You look at someone's code and go, why would you even do that? 5 hours into the rewrite, you go, oh, that's why you do that. Duh. Every time. Goodness gracious. You also probably know that companies who did it often feel obliged to write a blog post justifying why their use or their case is different and wasn't a mistake at all. This leads to a growing number of pro-rewrite blog posts, and that tempts even more companies into doing it. What an irony, but hear me out. Our case is different. I mean, I'm loving the start of this. This is so good. This is so good. All right. Is your tool in Golang? This is literally the question we got asked several times by users. Not even what is it written in, straight up, is it in Go? Apparently, people not only care what Digger is written in, they care specifically. I don't know, what is Digger? I don't know this product. What is this thing? They care specifically whether or not it is in Go. Is this like some old? It's a gold. It's for gold. Oh, link in paragraph 2. Okay. Oh, isn't okay. Hold on. And let's see. They care specifically whether or not it is written in Go. And unfortunately, it was Python. Sorry for all the Pythonistas out there. Nothing wrong with it. By the way, Pythonistas are some of the easiest crowds on Stack Overflow to trick into getting Stack Overflow karma. One of my best Stack Overflow questions ever was which one is more Pythonic, and then just put some shit out there, and you'll get hundreds of responses, people jumping in, upvotes all over the place. Your question will be edited like 16 times for clarifications. It's beautiful. Always bet on the Pythonistas getting after it. Okay, always do. Always do. So let's see. It just so happens that Golang is the go-to language in DevOps tooling, pun intended. And we didn't know that before starting the latest iteration of Digger. Naturally, we use the same language that the previous 4 iterations were written in. Python. It turns out that's suboptimal for CLI first tools. Yeah, agreed. Especially if the tool is meant for automation. Yeah, okay, so this makes perfect sense why you'd have to do a full rewrite. If you're doing an open source alternative to Terraform Enterprise, this makes perfect sense, right? Everyone has all this tooling in Go, so they just want to be able to use your tool in Go, right? It is probably time to tell you what Digger is, an open source alternative to Terraform Enterprise. Digger runs Terraform plan and apply in your existing CI system, unlike Terraform Cloud and equivalents that are effectively dedicated full stack CI CD platforms with compute and jobs and logs and everything. We thought there's got to be a better way to run Terraform than duplicating your entire CI stack. So Digger is a thin wrapper / orchestrator that seamlessly integrates with your CI toolkit like GitHub Actions, GitLab, or Azure DevOps. Okay, a single brain works everywhere. A command line tool written in Python may look small, but it has implicit dependencies on the interpreter, even if it ships with all the dependencies. You, of course, could bundle a Python distribution with the tool, but that makes the package super heavy. And if you don't do that, there's no guarantee that everything will work as intended on the host platform. Goodness gracious, is this not the truth? Is this not the truth? Dude, the amount of time I've spent in the exceptionally limited amount of time I've spent using Python has been, hey, guess what? Wrong. Oh, matplotlib? More like matplot nuts on your face. It's just like, dude, okay, I'm going to just use Anaconda from here on out. You're using Anaconda? I use Anaconda. And then it doesn't work. You're like, damn it. Why is my Anaconda not like your Anaconda? It's just frustrating. A single binary, on the other hand, will always work because it has no external dependencies. Yep, faster means cheaper. Statically compiled binary is much smaller and faster to run. That is not about performance optimizations. Modern applications don't need anything fancy in terms of algorithm / data structures. You could argue differently about that for certain things. But I guess they do say the word most modern. Okay, I can buy that. Okay, I can buy it. But even then, fast versus slow boot time is a huge differentiator. Yep, Go just starts. Python, you got a whole environment you need. You know what I mean? Especially if the tool is a part of CI/CD pipeline. Faster means cheaper. A single binary not only uses less CPU cycles or minutes. Got 'em, Python. It also uses much less RAM. Got 'em, Python, which means you need less VMs to handle your parallel runs. Got 'em, Python. Does that mean update, or is that just a misspelling of UDP? You get the ecosystem of tooling of the tool is using. This is true. Thanks to this person for pointing this out. We haven't thought of this as a potential reason, but it makes so much sense. Indeed, it's the only natural to know what language the tool is written is, because if it's Node, then it'll make you use NPM. Gems for root. Wait, gems? Who's doing gems? A standalone binary, on the other hand, doesn't enforce the opinion of the ecosystem. Very, very true. This is very, very beautiful. This is very, very, very beautiful. We did it in 2 weeks. Yes, the whole thing in 10 working days. Wow. That's really fast. How's this possible? That's really fast. It must have been a small project then? Is it really that small of a project? Because 10 days, there's 2 ways this could happen. One, you have deep familiarity with the language you're going to write it in, and you have deep familiarity with the entire code base. So therefore, you can just write it super fast. Or 2, or there's like there's some spectrum of that to the other side, which is like you're not as familiar, but you hear it's better, / the project's super small. Could have done it in Rust in 12 days. Could have done it in Rust in 12 days. It's true. Yes, the whole thing in 10 working days. How is that possible? Well, I have a dirty secret to tell. There wasn't that much to rewrite. We started Digger as an alternative UI for AWS that auto-generated and ran Terraform behind the scenes for every scenario you'd expect as a piece of a POS, like Heroku to do, like deploy a container or database. However, we have quickly learned that this is too big a problem to tackle for a startup. Simply too many edge cases. Yeah, we just wanted to be everything. We wanted to just do everything possible under the sun. Is that too much? Just all of it? That's all. Just like Heroku. Just like a little quick Heroku clone. That's all we're going to do. A little Heroku clone. So we zoomed in to focus on only infrastructure. Okay. Then we also dropped the Terraform generation part and focused exclusively on Terraform deployment, which led us to realizing that we were essentially duplicating a CI/CD stack. So why don't we reuse existing CI infrastructure? This is why the Python codebase we decided to rewrite in Golang wasn't that huge. It essentially is a wrapper on top of Terraform that also is aware of state in S3 and stored metadata in DynamoDB. Back then, we didn't have an orchestrator backend or an API or UI of any kind. We planned to do it in a week, and we kind of did. But we were new to Go, so it took another week to get into the production-ready state and move early adopters over to the new version. Oh, interesting. Okay, so they weren't even familiar with Go. I think this also speaks volumes to just Go's a simple language. I know it's not sexy. It's not something like... Go's like eating vegetables. You know what I mean? It's probably just good for you. You know, it's just, that's all there is to it. It's just good for you. That's all there is to it. Go is not shit. Go is, it's just an exceptionally simple language. And I always have this problem where it's not like Python. Python's more complicated than Go. Go is like literally the dumbest language possible. It's about as dumb as it gets. Yeah, if error does not equal nil is still better than throwing errors. What, you like raising exceptions? What are you, a dummy? That's like the worst possible of them all. I like Go, but it's boring AF. That's why I don't want to do Go. That's why I don't do Go in side projects, because I want to have something that I feel like is exciting. I like Rust, but I can't love it as much because Go just feels like you can always win and Go despite no matter what. It just somehow always I get things done every single time. I take Go error handling of errors any time of the day. I'd rather use Go than TypeScript. You know how much Go doesn't support Almond? Dude, won't cone Go? Wait, hold on. You put your squirrely brace on a new line? What? Hold on. You won't use Go because you program like this. Yeah. Get out. Get out. Gross. Gross. Ugh. Who would want that? Yeah, C# user. Microsoft outed. Let him cook. Instaban. MacBook off the roof. Dude, MacBook's going off the roof. Unfriend. Syntax, let's see. Syntax styling behind being a deal breaker is insane. The only thing that's worse. Okay, so I'll give you one thing that I think is really dumb about Golang is that it aligns types and everything according to the length of the name. So all the types are right here and the names are on the other side of the struct. You have to put a new line to make it stop doing that. I hate that. For me, I understand that not all of, syntax is whatever, but that's it's not readable. You start getting into these stupid things where you have to you have space in between. Okay, my dumb brain can't be following a big old thigh gap of white space. I can't do that. I'm going to miss the whole thing. Okay? I can't do that. I ain't doing that. All right, here we go. The switch happened in the 20th of March. In this PR with an unassuming name, copy files. Nice. Back then, we didn't have much traction. We didn't even know for sure that was the right thing to be building. 3 months and 700 GitHub stars later. Man, I can't read this morning. Of course, we are now following much stricter PR naming guidelines. Contributions welcome. Oh, this is actually really cool. Real talk, this was actually super cool that I'm surprised that you could really get something up and running and being quote-unquote production ready in 10 days, even if the scope's not huge, but being unfamiliar with the language, but familiar with the problem, and being able to translate everything you have into another language. Again, I think that just speaks volume of just how simple Go really is. Again, not a huge fan of Go. Again, I'm a Leptos guy. I'm a Rust Leptos guy. Okay, this is what I want. That's what I want. This is what I want. Okay, I'm not used to this non-version of that. No one here is loving Go, okay? We use it because it's just a language that is successful. That's all it is. It's just a very easy language to get something right in. Try maintaining a huge code base in Go. Yeah, I've seen many. My previous company was all about it, and my current company is all about it. I contribute to Go at my current company. It's not that bad at all. Anyways, hey, guess what? The name is I don't really love Go, but I'm always intrigued by how productive people are in it. And sometimes I wonder if my choice is about Rust, given how crappy the foundation is. Maybe I should have chosen Go and just eaten vegetables instead of this wild, delicious boutique food I choose called Jen.